Hi everyone and welcome. Today we have to review this Nontaus multi-band radio and media player bought from AliExpress, and at the time of recording it cost around about £11.23 UK, and that's approximately $13 US, and that does include tax and shipping. Now it pays to shop around as this is sold by a number of stores on the AliExpress website and the prices do seem to vary. Now it came without a box, and would you believe it is shipped in bright red bubble wrap, but nonetheless it survived its journey all the way from China. So what you get is the receiver itself. You also get a USB lead, and that's used for recharging the internal battery. You don't get any instructions, but to be honest it's straightforward to use. Now the reason I bought this is it's a very compact design, and it seems to emulate the pocket transistor radios that were so prolific in the 1960s and the early 1970s. So for comparison, what I've got is this 8 transistor real-time radio. This dates back to the early 1960s. As you can see, size wise they're very similar. You've also got a tuning scale towards the top of the radio, speaker in the lower half, and we've even got thumb wheel controls on the side. And to be honest, I was just curious to see how good or bad a radio this size would be. So what have we got? Well, dimension wise it measures at 100 high, 66 wide by 25mm deep, and if we get the old mugshot test as we always do on this channel just for size comparison, there we go. It covers 3 wavebands. It covers FM between 87 and 108 MHz, AM is 522 to 1620 kHz, and then finally we have shortwave. That covers between 7.8 and 16.2 MHz, so it doesn't quite cover the full spectrum of available shortwave frequencies. Now although this is a DSP radio, we've in fact got an analog dial. Now it's going to get interesting on shortwave because the number of stations that you can try and separate out is going to be very limited, but nevertheless let's see how it goes on. Then beneath that we've got a 4-way selector switch, that's selecting either MP3, FM, AM or shortwave, and then below that we've got a 30mm speaker. Again, it'll be interesting just to see how that performs. Turning to the side, we've got our tuning thumb wheel, we've got our volume on off, and then we have our mini USB connection for recharging the internal battery. Looking at the top, what we have here, we've got a 3.5mm socket for our headphones. I've checked this out, to my ears that does appear to be a mono output. Now associated with our MP3 media, we've got our USB slot, we've got our micro SD card slot. Adjacent to that we've got an LED, and that's quite useful because when the radio is in operation that illuminates blue. In charge mode, when it's actually charging it glows red, and when it's fully charged it then glows green. Adjacent to that we've got 3 push buttons, again associated with the MP3 player, so we've got reverse, pause and play, and then we've got forward. And then the best thing we've got, and you're going to laugh at this, we've got a little aerial, and when I say little it is really little. Would you believe it's 160mm long? So again it can be very interesting to see how it performs on shortwave. Turning to the rear we've got a little belt clip which is useful. Now the battery compartment, I was expecting a small flat lithium battery, but would you believe I've actually shoehorned in a full size 18650 battery, so this is going to last a long time on a full charge. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try it out on FM and AM, then we're going to have a play utilising the MP3 player, and then we're going to see how it performs on shortwave. So let's get started. Okay, so let's see what FM performance is like. So I've selected FM there utilising the selector switch. I'm going to extend our really long aerial. Going to pop it on and let's see what we've got to play with.
The rules have been suspended.
Alright, well, let's hear the song.
So it is a tradition. It's an interview you gave a couple of years back.
I have to say that loudspeaker belies its little 30mm size. That sound is pretty good. So let's try a bit more. Wow, FM is pretty lively. I'm amazed at the sound quality of this. I was expecting something really tinny and rattly, but it's actually quite good. So what I'm going to do now is try it on AM. We might not pick up an awful lot on this because a lot of the stations are closing down by now. I actually live in the middle of the UK. But nevertheless, let's give it a whirl. So I'm going to pop it on again. Might be a bit directional.
Previews, expert insight, exclusive interviews, and everything you need to make sure you're...
So, why does inflation stay high?
It picked up one or two, not too many. To be honest, you can hear that DSP sort of kicking in. I wasn't expecting an awful lot, but that's not too bad. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try it out in MP3 mode. So let's see what MP3 performance is like. So I'm going to select MP3. Got a little micro SD card I'm going to pop in the top, and these are always fiddly. There we go. I'm going to pop it on. Let's see what we've got to play with. I have to say, I'm rather surprised. That little 30mm speaker is punching well above its weight. That's actually sounding pretty good. So now I'm going to try it with a USB thumb drive. So let's get rid of the little TF card. Pop that in. Let's get these backwards. Pop it back on. That's really good. So it's a thumbs up from me in MP3 playback. Let's give it a real test now, and we're going to put it through its paces in shortwave mode. So now let's see what shortwave performance is like. I've reduced the lighting just down to one incandescent bulb. That helps reduce the noise generated by LED lighting. So what I'm going to do now is put that huge aerial up, select shortwave, pop it on, and let's see what we've got to play with. Now selectivity might be an issue, as I mentioned before. Let's see how we get on.
Que ha recalcado que esta forma de apoyo, junto con la militar, la sectores económicos de algunos países miembros, como la agricultura. En el paquete también se han incluido medidas destinadas a proteger tanto económicamente como con víctimas mortales las consecuencias del conflicto provocado por Moscú. Recordamos que la suspensión...
To be honest, that's not too bad considering just dealing with a 160mm long aerial. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pop the lighting back on and we can take it from there. Okay, so we're back to normal lighting conditions now. So there you have it. It's the very compact Nontaus multi-band radio and media player. Do I recommend it? Well, if you have a very compact radio that you can actually fit in your pocket, then the answer is yes. It really is ideal for either hiking or camping, or maybe even just taking with you when you go on your holidays. I have to say I was pleasantly surprised as it performed much better than I was expecting from such a compact radio and with such a tiny aerial. And by the way, if you're wondering what those Chinese words are, I'll pop them on the screen now just so you can see what they're all about. Anyway, hopefully this proved useful. If it did, then please give me that thumbs up. That helps others to find this video as well. And as always, I appreciate you watching and I'll catch up with you soon.